Namaskar, I am Dr. Nalini Avinash Vakmarin, working as an assistant professor at Tirak Maharashtra Vidyapith. This is my brief information. Today's our topic is related to Bhakti movement and its principles and its effects and famous Bhakti rulers of medieval period, basically related to India. So, Bhakti movement has played an important role in shaping and enriching the spiritual and religious tradition of India. It has deeply influenced the social value system at all levels of the Indian society. The movement has surfaced in different parts of India during different periods under various names. Bhakti movement. One very important result of the influence of Islam was the rise of new schools of religion, which aim at liberalizing the religious practice of the Hindus so as to bring about some sort of approachment between the Hindus and Muslim faiths. The promises which Islam gives to the unity of God and its democratic principles in social and religious matters prompted the saintly reformers of the time to reinterpret Hinduism in terms of these new ideas. They practiced and preached a religion which was not ritualistic and open to all without any distinction of caste and without any distinction between or discrimination on the basis of caste, creed, religion, and sect. So this Bhakti movement started in medieval period. What is the meaning of Bhakti? Let's see what is the meaning of Bhakti. Bhakti means burning love or devotion towards God. The devotees or bhaktas of God do not believe in caste distinctions and class hatred and believe in only brotherhood of all humanity. They believe in the unity of God and discard all sorts of ceremonies and ritualism. They only believe the wanted to welfare of the all human being and goodness of the all people. There is no discrimination on the basis of caste, community, religion, and sect. So that is the meaning of bhakti is devotion towards God. Whomever God you are worshipping. God worshipping is a personal thing, so whom you worship. A person particular worship for example, Vishnu. So we call that person as he was the devotee of Vishnu. And Vishnu is God. So this we can say. They tried to remove all the evils in their religion. The cardinal principle of Bhakti cult was infusing devotion to a personal God whose grace was the only means of attaining salvation or mukti. The Bhakti reformers among the Hindus and Sufi saints among Muslims. So in Bhakti movement, actually it started in medieval India, and in medieval India, two religious reform movements started. One is Bhakti movement and another one is Sufism. So here, Bhakti movement started in Hindu religion and Sufi movement started in Muslim community. Muslim first laid emphasis on those principles which were somewhat common or familiar to each other. Then what were the principles of this Bhakti movement? First principle is God is one. He alone should be worshipped. By following the path of true devotion to Bhakti, one can find salvation of mukti. So various names, various forms of God is there, but God is one and he can worship and get the salvation. A true guru is indispensable for realizing God or attaining salvation. If you wanted to salvation, if you wanted to mukti, you have to one guru who is show you the path of that right path. So in Bhakti movement, Guru is very, very necessary. Not only in Bhakti movement, in every field in your life, in school to college level, in personal life, everywhere Guru is respected and Guru is necessary. So Bhakti movement, that time also, the Guru is also inseparable part. He is guide us to go the right path in one's own life. Much emphasis was laid on the Rama cult and the Krishna cult. So here the Bhakti movement, some are followers are Rama, some are followers are Krishna, but their way are different, their practices different, but they worship God in the form of some are in the form of Lord Vishnu, some worship the same Lord Vishnu's incarnation, Lord Ram. All men are equal and there is no question of superiority or inferiority among men. There is brotherhood of mankind. So this the basic important chief principle of this Bhakti movement. Because before Bhakti movement, we find the discrimination on the basis of caste, community, color, sex, men and women, high and low, uh, touchable, untouchable. These things are took place. But Bhakti reformers, they mainly focus on no superiority, no white color or black color people, no rich and no poor, no men and gents. All are equal in the eyes of law. That was mentioned here. The image worship, idol worship, and caste distinctions and class hatred were the worst enemies of man. So these all things they wanted to remove from the society which was existing at that time. They strongly denounced useless ceremonies and rituals and rites must be given up. Whichever the practices at that time took place in the Bhakti movement, they social evils, they wanted to remove that things and establish a humanity-based society there. Only the good actions of man can help him to attain the salvation. That points Bhakti reformers mention in their writings. Not only writings, whatever they preach, that practice in their life, and that also followers also practice those things. It is not necessary to leave this world and go to jungle to reach God. If any person wanted to salvation, it's not necessary he has to go to jungle or forest to get the salvation. In earlier, what we find that if you want to mukti, if you want to salvation, free from this birth, then a person go to Himalaya, take a tapasya, practice meditation, that get the salvation. But these Bhakti reformers, they stated that not necessary go to any jungle, any forest. You stay in the society with family, do good work, good actions, communicate everyone, humanity based you behave, then you get the salvation. Those points mentioned by these reformers. There should be religious tolerance. We find that there is only one God, only the path to reach there different. Both men and women can get salvation by bhakti and good deeds. That point also, there is no discrimination on the basis of caste or gender or sex here they have mentioned. God does not live in a temple but in the hearts of the men. So it is not necessary if you big temple build, then God is there, then he will give you salvation. No. Bhakti reformers argued that keep God in your heart, in your mind, and do your good action, then you get the salvation. That is the main points they wanted to preach. Bhakti reform had no desire to set up a separate religious sect of their own. They were free from the bondage of any particular creed. They wanted to only salvation. So here the Bhakti reformers, we find that they don't wanted to this pantha or this sect or this groupism. They wanted to salvation. Any can come and any can practice good things and get the salvation. There is no any sect there. Later on, we find that so many religious reformers came in India, and they followers started later on particular sect, particular group, and they are following those things till today also. The love of a devotee was compared to the devotion of servant to his master, love between friends, affection of a mother for a child, and the passion of lover for his beloved. So this love between how husband and wife love, as well as servant and master, as well as mother and child, lover and beloved, these things we find in the Bhakti, means love or total devotion to your personal God, whomever you worship, but trust him, but believe him and practice good things, then you get the salvation. Those points mentioned, taught by these reformers. Then the chief reformers for main reformers, Bhakti reformers, if I take the whole reformers achievements, it will take 2-3 lectures. So that's why I only mention the names of these reformers. Whenever you refer any book, you get the detailed information about these reformers. So Bhakti reformers under that Shankaracharya, Ramanucharya, Nimbalkar, Madhvacharya, Ramananda, Kabira, Vallabhacharya, Guru Nanak, Tulsidas, Surdas, Mirabai. Then again Yamunacharya, Ramananda. Even Bhakti movement we find in South also Ramanucharya, Actually, in 7th century, the Bhakti movement started in South India. The Alavars, which literally means those immersed in God, were Vaishnava poet saints who sang praises of Vishnu as they traveled from one place to another place. Alavars and Nayanars Bhakti movement took place in the South India. Then there started the Bhakti reform movement to remove the social evils which are existing at that time, and reform the religion and good points involved and remove the social evils of that time. So those Nayanars, Alavars Alavars are follower of Lord Vishnu, and Nayanars follower of Lord Shiva. Then again the Tamil Puranas give us so many information related to these things. Then Alavars and Nayanars found in South India. Then again other famous Bhakti rulers. In short, I have mentioned here. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was an ascetic Hindu monk and social reformer in 6th century Bengal. A great proponent of loving devotion for God, Bhakti Yoga, Chaitanya worshipped the Lord in the form of Krishna. Chaitanya cult follower, they worshipped the Lord Vishnu. Then Sri Ramanujacharya was an Indian philosopher and is recognized as the most important saint of Sri Vaishnavism. Then Ramananda brought to North India what Ramanuja did in the South India. He raised his voice against the increasing formalism of Orthodox cult and founded a new school of Vaishnavism based on the gospel of love and devotion. His most outstanding contribution is the abolition of distinction of caste among his followers. Then Bhakti reformers and women, while we take the most of the reformers wanted to remove the caste system from the society, give importance to women, give importance to regional language, which are the social evil existing at that time, sati system, child marriage, widow remarriage not allowed, as well as harassment on women, violence on women, as well as this caste discrimination, touchable, untouchable. Most of the Bhakti reformer wanted to remove these things and build a welfare society in the on this ground. Like women's movement also, reformers like Guru Nanak, Eknath, Tukaram, Basveshwara, Kabira, Mirabai, all argued that give an equal status of women with men and remove the social evils which existing at that time, like sati system, child marriage, devadasi system, which are totally destroy the life of the woman. There is the in 12th century, woman is a second status in the society. She has no right to socio-economic, political, religious rights. She is subordinate man, and she suffers so many restrictions, religious, social, as well as other restrictions. She only do family household work and give birth to the babies and take care of the family members and other things. Although she is, if a baby girl born at that time, they are killed to her, means people killed. So this even the sati system, after the death of husband, a woman take on his prey herself burn. So this is sati, as well as devadasya, a girl is devoted to temple. Later on, this devadasi taken the shape of harassment on women. So this type of things, even child marriage system, if we take that, if when the baby is born born that time, in the early time only her marriage fixes somebody. If that boy died, so whole life she spent her life as a widow. So widow would also be find in a critical. So everything is restriction given on women only. So that's time the reformers came forward and they given importance to women also. If in the world you want to live peacefully, both men and women equally live, solve the problems and spend the happy life. Then these Bhakti reformers show the three paths. One is Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga Marga, then Raja Yoga Marga and Bhakti Marga. Then many sources available: Persian, Hindi, Marathi, Kannada, Telugu, Tamil, Bengali, Assamese, Sanskrit. Every reformer is written in their own language, in their own text, which is give information about reconstruction of Indian society, how the reformer changed the society at that time, which their thoughts and their writings still relevance to us in this modern period. Then the some Warkari sect also following some principle under that Jnaneshwari, Tukaram Gatha, Sopana Devi, Namdev Gatha, Eknathi Bhagwat, the Chaitanya movement was a following text Sandarbhasa, Brahma Samhita. So they, even this Bhakti movement in Maharashtra also, that time religious revival covered a period of nearly 5 centuries and was very effective one. The Bhakti school of thought was represented by in Maharashtra basically Jnaneshwar, Namdev, Eknath, Tukaram and Ramdas. Then saint poets they have written, Namdev written in Abhanga, then Jnaneshwari written in Marathi language, Jnaneshwari, Eknath Ove Eknath Bhagwati, Tukaram Abhangas, which are in 8,000 available in simple sweet language, Ramdas Das Goda. Still these reformers thoughts relevance to modern times and people in the morning or those who are followers, those who wanted to salvation days. Till today, we find that these are inseparable part of the human beings. Although they are reformer taught at that time, but these are relevant to us to get the spiritual knowledge, religious knowledge, balance in life, worldly and spiritual for that purpose. Eknath and Saint Jnaneshwar, then Saint Eknath and Saint Tukaram, then Bhakti movement and their contribution. The saints and poets traveled widely throughout India on the foot and gained first-hand information. They held Hari Kirtanas, which the people listened to with great interest. They formed the spiritual background to the political aims of leaders like Shivaji. The saints were against idol worship and caste system and meaningless rituals. They taught the supremacy of one God. They taught bhakti, humanity, and love to all creatures without any discrimination. The Bhakti movement brought about democracy and national spirit among the Marathas. While we are considering Bhakti movement in Maharashtra, the devotional songs became part of every household and created cultural unity till today. What we take the example of Warkari movement. Then the Marathas literature of the Bhaktas breathless a breath of equality, fraternity, and spiritual liberty. Then Saint Mirabai, she was the great worshipper of Krishna who preached in the common language of the people. Her songs are very popular all over India. It is bhakti or devotion to Lord Krishna that can alone ensure salvation from to endless circle of births and deaths. Her devotional songs, Mere to Girdhar Gopala, in the ears of the devotees everywhere till today. These songs popularize the bhakti cult among the people and particularly among the women, which gives strength, devotion, and spirituality and self-respect to her. Then Sant Kabir, he reapproached both the Maulavis and Pandits alike and explained none. According to him, one can attain salvation by means of bhakti or sin. Kabir's preachings are contained in his dohas, Kabira's dohas, very famous till today also, which are still sung even up to this day. He preached against caste distinctions, supremacy of the Brahmins, image worship, etc. His followers are called Kabir Panthis. His verses are gems of Hindi poetry after maintain their popularity even to this day. He preached bhakti or devotion to God. He was against outward ceremonies as practiced by both Hindus and Muslims. He laid stress upon the purity of mind and sincerity of heart. Your pure heart, humanity work, sincerity, devotion to our God, these all give you salvation to reach near to God. So those thought by the Bhakti reformers. Then Saint Tulsidas and Saint Vallabhacharya. So various sects also found in Vaishnavism, in Saivism also. In Vaishnavism, Tulsidas followers called as Tulsidas Panthi, Mahanubhav. Warkari movement also started. This Mahanubhav sect and Warkari sect we find in when the Bhakti reformers started their movement in Maharashtra. Then Kabir sect also, Kabir Panthi, Vallabhacharya sect, Radha Swami sect, and Radha Vallabhi sect also. Later on, who are the reformer, they preaching, practice, influence the people, and they practice, and later on they start their own sect, and they are continuing today. Then Guru Nanak, founder of Sikhism, his works from society, his works from humanity, Guru Nanak visited various places, Gurudwara and Langar system started by him, social harmony was established by him. Guru Granth Sahib is the holy book of the Guru Nanak, Guru Sikhism. Like Kabir, he preached the unity of Godhead, condemned the formalization both Hinduism and Islam, which are the social evils exist at that time. He wanted to remove those things and given the importance to women and other people also. So till today also, if you visit the Gurudwara, you find that it is open to all. Only 2-3 restrictions are there, cover your hair and other things, as well as very faithfully you have to enter there in Gurudwaras. It is even Annadana, what we say. Gurudwara Langar is every time without considering the caste, community, or sect. They give food facilities to common people, not identifying this caste and that caste. Even they serve the everyone. Humanity works done by this sect from ancient to till today. These religious people also. Then Bhakti movement in Karnataka, when we find 12th century, Basveshwara was the founder of this Lingaitism or Veerashaivism. So at that time, he was a social, religious, economic reformer of the 12th century. Under his other 770 and 30 women Shivshanas or Shivshanis, they have to contemporary of Basveshwara, and they have also written the Vachanas. Basveshwara period also called as a Vachana Yuga, because at that time they simple native language, the Kannada, is a prose and poetry style of writing, common people language at that time. He given importance to that one, and he established the first world parliament, that is called Anubhav Mantapa in Basva Kalyan, which is still existing. Its renovation, the new model was there till today. This Anubhav Mantapa first world parliament, it's a democratic system. That time any caste person, any community people, it is open to all. And Linga Diksha, Basveshwara given to everyone, maybe Dalit men, women and others, and they became as a Lingayat. And here his movement given the importance to what contribution to Indian culture and literature in Bhakti's contribution. While we say gender equality, there is no discrimination, caste and community and sex in this movement. Social justice, work is worship. And whatever work you earn the money, you something donated to society, needy people. That is we called as a dasova. And humanity work, all are equal in the eyes of Lord, is telling a worship through even the Dalit, men, women, old, any community, any caste people enter in this religion. Till today also, his thoughts, philosophy, principle followed by this Lingayat community, and his thoughts are more relevant to till today. And Vachana Sahitya, which is also written by Kannada language, which is written in Kannada language, Basveshwara along his contemporary written that one, and the now Basva Samiti of Bangalore translated this one into 23 languages. Even you want to Urdu or Arabic or Telugu or Marathi language, that book is available. You contact, then you get the information. So they remove the social evils which are existing at that time, untouchability, remove that time, given importance to women, work importance, main works done by this Basveshwara and his contemporaries in 12th century in Karnataka. Then what were the effect of the Bhakti movement? It gave us a literature of considerable value in the vernacular language of the country, because if you take Basveshwara, the language is Kannada Vachanas. Take the Maharashtrian saint poets, Marathi language. Take to Kabir, Hindi language, Miras, Rajasthani language, then Guru Nanak. So every reformer written those texts in their regional language. So automatically vernacular language became a stronger one, and it's contributed to Indian literature and culture. Then it modified the strictness of the world's spirit of caste exclusiveness. It raised the Shudras classes to the position of spiritual power and social importance, almost equal to that of the Brahmins. That was brought by these changes by the Bhakti reformers. Then it gave sanctity to the family relations and raised the status of women equal to men in this movement. It made the nation more humane, at the same time more prone to hold together by mutual toleration. It subordinated the importance of rites and ceremonies and of pilgrimages and fast and of learning and contemplation to the higher excellence of worship by means of love and faith is necessary for the get this salvation. It checked the excessiveness of polytheism. It tended in all these ways to raise the nation generally to a higher level of capacity, both of thought and action, to take the lead in re-establishing a united need to power in the place of foreign domination. Then gender equality, humanity, social justice, brotherhood, fight against caste system, upliftment men and women. These all things brought by the Bhakti movement in the society. Very briefly, I explained this lecture. So you have to refer these books for detailed information. Bhandarkar, Aji Bhandarkar's Vaishnavism, Shaivism and minor religious systems. Then Bhattacharya's The Religion Film for the Cultural Heritage of India. Then Dandekar, some aspects of history of Hinduism. Then again R.N. Dandekar's Insight into Hinduism, Gonad Jain, Vishnuism and Shaivism. Jaiswal's The Origin and Development of Vaishnavism. So this book give information, Bhakti movement. Even you can refer the medieval Indian histories. Satish Chandra book, B.D. Mahajan book. There is more helpful to you. Thank you very much for listening my lecture. Thank you.